everyone. We are leaving Pennsylvania right now for Sharpsburg, Maryland, where we will see the Antietam battlefield, the bloodiest day of the U.S. Civil War. Say hi, Dad. There. Yep, we're going on a road trip.
This is
All right.
isn't it?
Yes, here is the battlefield. And there's my dad. Look. 1862. A lot of stuff went down right here. We are all along the watchtower here. We are way up. Way up. Okay, so we are done with our trip to Antietam in Maryland. Now we are at the hotel, and from our room on the 10th floor, we have a beautiful view of Camden Yards, the Baltimore Orioles ballpark, which is right next to, you can see in the distance here, the Ravens Stadium, M&T Bank Stadium. So we have a view of it right from the window of our hotel room. So you can see the pools all the way down there. So that's where we're staying at tonight. So we're about to leave our hotel in Baltimore soon, and we're gonna head off to the Baltimore Aquarium, or the National Aquarium in Baltimore, where we will see lots of cool sea creatures. Let's just say Blathers from Animal Crossing would be proud. So right now you're seeing some of the sea creatures I saw. This one looks like Nemo, and here is Nemo from afar in his tank, and yes, all the toddlers screamed out Nemo. They had a whole exhibit on jellyfish, and there was actually some jellyfish you could touch. Not this one in particular, but there was some little guys that they actually allowed you to touch. So there were some sharks as well. Not big sharks, but sharks nonetheless. There was also this big stingray. He was so passive, he just let other fish just stand on top of him, the poor guy. And then there was this other stingray. You see a shark alongside with him. This stingray has the same pattern as my dog's stripes. There were also turtles. I do like turtles. Okay, so now we are in the home and museum of baseball legend Babe Ruth. So this is his original house right here. This is the original floor. They got some videos of him. So this is, I guess these are the staircase right here. It says please keep away. We'll do that. So this is Babe Ruth's original house. All right, folks, here we see Babe Ruth's kimono. He apparently wore this as, he got this on a trip to Japan, and apparently it was favorite from his nighttime wardrobe. So this was worn by Babe Ruth himself. So we're inside one of the houses at Fort Mchenry, which was where the Star-Spangled Banner was written in the War of 1812. And we're now looking at this guy who, he scared my dad over here. He thought he was a real person for a second. So here is the flag at Fort McHenry. This is right around where the Star-Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Key back in the year 1814. Okay, so now I'm at the hotel room in Manassas, Virginia. Today, we will be seeing the battle site of the Battle of Manassas from the Civil War, also known as the Battle of Bull Run. And later today, we will be seeing Monticello, Thomas Jefferson, the third president. We'll be seeing his house. Sounds cool. So this is the grave of the first Civil War casualty, right?
Civilian.
First civilian casualty in the Civil War. She was 84 or 85 or something like that, and got blown up
in her own house.
Blown up in her own house. That sucks. And they said there was thousands more civilians that died throughout the rest of the Civil War, right?
50,000 more
Over
civilians.
50,000 more civilians.
Which is the first.
Wow. So here we see the uniform that 17-year-old cadet Charles Norris, not Chuck Norris, wore right here. Here's him wearing that same uniform in the picture. Unfortunately, it didn't end so well for him at this battle. So then, of course, we visited Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's house. Here you see a section with some cool Native American weaponry. So here are some original drawings by Thomas Jefferson, and you'll see from some of my pictures later that he is quite the architect. Here was a bust he had of his political frenemy John Adams. He also had a bust of Alexander Hamilton, who was his political enemy. I guess he believed keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So here is some of the beautiful furniture and cabinets that Jefferson owned. And here is a view of his house Monticello from the outside. A spectacular work of architecture, and you might recognize it from somewhere. Yes, it's on the back of a nickel. And here is Thomas Jefferson's grave. It actually had a lot of coins thrown at it, so I threw that very nickel onto it. So as I come back from this trip to Monticello and through all the rest of the things I went to, I can tell you that, as I had already said, Thomas Jefferson's architecture in his house was absolutely beautiful to see in person. However, right now especially, the painful legacy of slavery is not ignored, and the fact that Thomas Jefferson owned over 600 slaves throughout his entire life. So they actually helped him build that house, if you weren't historically aware of that. And that's kind of how you see it to this day. That it's 90% original to how it looked at the time, his house Monticello. So just thought I'd let everyone know that. So my little history vacation trip ended yesterday with a trip to the American Museum of the Revolution. Here we see King George and me. King George was the guy America seceded from on July 4th, and I went to the museum on July 4th. Here we see an epic brawl because revolutions can be violent sometimes. And here is an epic golden statue of George Washington, whose original tent you get to see in this trip. I'm too lazy to put up my Koopa Cape outro music onto this iPad, so here, enjoy this picture of me and fish as the last thing you see in this video.